All right, hello everybody. I hope you can hear me very well. I'm just trying to make sure that the gain settings aren't, too bad. If the voice is too low, just let me know and I'm gonna adjust at any time. But for the sole purposes of the stream, I welcome each and every one of you and those who will be joining at a later time to our next stream. It's been a bit, but things happen. Working on the videos on the side. In any case, here we are today playing what is essentially a modified version of an existing old school MMO. Now, I'm sure most people know what a MapleStory is, but for those that don't, it's a 2D MMORPG made by Nexon of Korea, and it's essentially an MMORPG, but in 2D format. So, Chronostory is a modified version, using the MapleStory Worlds application, which is essentially, think of it like Roblox, except, it's not Roblox. So, in any case, without further ado, let's get started and begin the character creation. So, as you can see, there's a lot of different options. So, let me just get through those first, and then we can go on to the next part. Alright, so here is the next part, the arguably most annoying part, but just bear with me here. Essentially, in old school MapleStory, long time ago, I'm talking 2003-ish, we used to have to do the dice rolls to determine our starting stats. Now, for most MMORPGs that sounds crazy, but, MapleStory was different. Is it annoying? Yes, it is. Especially when you're trying to min-max and get the most efficient stats, but honestly at this moment, who really cares? So let's just get started. What I'm aiming for today is I need high strength. 13 would be the highest number. Now I know Dex is 13 right now. This is probably the most best stat line you could arguably get if you want to make an archer. I'm not gonna lie to you, that is pretty tempting. But I'm a warrior man, so no. We're gonna have to keep doing this. Now, if this takes... Oh! There we go. Wow. See, this is how you know everything's gonna work out. Without further ado, let us begin. Alright, as you can see, it's I'm gonna need to adjust some settings real quick. I just prefer having my hands close to the keyboard at all times, so the usual default scheme was Alt to jump, Control to attack. However, for me, I usually like doing it in F key because it's much easier for my hands. Trust me on that. Now, I usually like to set aside this area here for measure skills. Perfect. Let's begin, shall we? This is essentially the tutorial island of MapleStory, so we'll be going through this quick. My first time, though, in this game, specifically Chronostory, so there's going to be a lot of different changes I won't know about, so let's see how that goes. This part of the game is pretty straightforward, so just bear with me for the time being. Aside from that, I hope everyone's been doing well today. Hope you had a nice weekend and everything. I hope your weekend plans are just as effortless and just as great. Essentially, this tutorial teaches you everything you need about the game, whether it's healing, jumping, interacting with the NPCs. Very simple stuff, very straightforward. This game was my life. This game was my childhood. This game was my everything. What the? Oh. Well, there's a delay, but I mean, to be fair, this is kind of be expected for the game. So if you notice some delays, it's not because of the stream, it's because of the game. All right, do some attacking. Aside from the weekend, I hope everyone's been up to date on everything that's been going on. Make sure, you know, keeping yourself healthy, keep yourself good. If there's been any new games you guys are interested in at the moment, just say in the chat. I'm pretty curious what people are excited for. I know GTA 6 is coming out soon, but that can't be the only game. Here we level up, we get to learn one of 3 skills. This one I usually never use because you will just have better methods later. This one's pretty good. Self-recovery. This one's also just as fantastic because it's just free movement speed. In Chronostory, this skill has been buffed significantly, acting as essentially the main movement speed for plenty of classes. Now, every time we level up, we're gonna have to do some ability point distributions. This is the type of game where you actually have to try and, you know, ensure that you're not screwing up your build. For us as warriors, our 2 main stats are gonna be strength and dex. That is the only things that matter. Dex only matters because we need accuracy. Accuracy is what determines our damage range. Lower accuracy means that the range is much wider and you're gonna have far less consistent damage. What a higher accuracy means is that the range is going to be much smaller, meaning you'll have more consistent damage. But at the same time, strength is what determines our damage. So you can see the conundrum. As we get to the game, I'll be teaching you all the methods. At least for those who are new to this game. For now, we're just going to be speedrunning the entire process of MapleStory. All right. See, in the regular game of MapleStory, you don't have auto pickup. They usually had that as an effect for getting pets in the game, which usually costed real life money. In Chronostory, we don't really have that disadvantage, so if you want to play MapleStory without all these hiccups, I generally recommend this. In old school MapleStory, by the way, it was pretty common to them to just have long stretches of roads of travel, kind of like an actual 3D MMO, like in World of Warcraft. Of course, being 2D, there are some advantages. For one, it's not as intensive to have to get from one place to another, but on the opposite end, that means less detail for maps since it's all in 2D, and on a 2D plane, there's only so much you can stuff into one area. Now, I will say, on MapleStory Worlds, the main difference between this and what you would play in the actual game is the fact that channels are pretty limited in space due to how MapleStory World works. So we won't be seeing that many players. Hopefully once MapleStory Classic Worlds comes out, you know, at least then we experience a far better MMO experience. But it's not that bad, because at least that means more hunting space for us. In any case, even if you aren't really paying attention, I do hope everyone is having a wonderful night so far. Hope, you know, Friday night's been good to you all. For those that probably wondered if there was a notification for this, there wasn't, because I didn't really have time to set one up, so I'm apologizing in advance. Next time I'll try and get a stream notification set up firsthand. I think the quest is bugging out. A little worried here. Oh, okay, no, it's not. Okay. By the way, for those that of course don't know, these ores are generally just used for crafting. Of course, crafting in old school MapleStory is a very intensive manual labor cost, and it required a lot of work because you had to gather plenty of these materials, and the drop rates in old school MapleStory were pretty atrocious for these. Of course, in Chronostory, I have no idea how adjusted the rates are, but I'm sure it's not be too bad. Give me just one moment, let me adjust something here. This item, there are chair items in the game. Just sit on it, go AFK, and you'll recover some really decent HP in the early game for essentially a few, like, every 10 seconds. It's not too bad at all. Huh. I think it would be the sit button. No? Okay, we're good. We are almost done. We're making pretty good progress. Of course, from here, from level 10 is where the grind begins, but Chronostory did adjust the experience rates to not be as atrocious. Old school MapleStory was heavily grind-centric. The rates were very slow onwards from level 10, and it went even slower past level 30. Okay, let's see. Oh, right. So, for those new to MapleStory, there are 5 classes in this game version. There's warriors, bowmen, thieves, magicians, and pirates. Warriors are just slow, they like to attack close range with melee weapons, you know, the usual. Magicians are squishy, but they use magic. Bowmen, they're very accurate, they attack from afar. Thieves are a bit... Rogues are the... Well, they're supposed to be the stealthy character, but they're actually just one of the best classes in the game. And pirates are a little bit of between, because they're at level 30, you get to pick a subclass, essentially. A second job, if you will. That is what the terminology. Okay. Honestly, one of the things I really loved about old school MapleStory was the monster designs. I think they're just very charming. Especially the sprites. I think even today it aged really well. A fruit knife? So, in Chronostory, you get to know the attack speed's specific number. Usually it'll just say something like faster, but the 3 in parentheses is the actual attack speed number. In MapleStory, I believe that number goes from 0 to 6, I believe. I could be wrong. Someone's gonna have to fact check me on that. I don't know how many of you guys played MMOs back in the day, or if you even still play any now. I'd safely say that a gacha game is technically a modern MMO equivalent. If any of you guys play any of those, you know, just say in the chat. I'm actually pretty curious what people play those these days. Used to play a bit of Honkai Star Rail, but these days I really don't. I think these sorts of super grind heavy games aren't exactly my forte. That could change if I stream more of it. It really depends. Nope, not here. Have to find some slime gels. Oh, there they are. Okay. Yeah, drop rates are very generous in Chronostory. So these slime bubbles, these would be the normal items, and these would be the slightly less common items. As you can see, it's quite easy to get both here. Okay, yeah. So the laser is also very uncommon. You will not be these will not drop that consistently. But I imagine in Chronostory it will. And that's going to be important because laser is very useful for us in crafting. Crafting what exactly? Weapons, shields, accessories, literally everything we need to equip ourselves. And that's going to be pretty important because in Maple Story, the old school edition, they really didn't sell that many gloves. Gloves are not something that stores sell. You usually have to find them or you have to make them. I know our haircut's really ugly, but I'm hoping we can fix that soon. If eventually. I'd like to be a little optimistic. For those currently watching, again, hope you're having a good one. Make sure you get plenty of water. Hydration is very important. I will need to preface this though. These grind heavy gains, I don't know if you're the type who can watch these with the streams, but I want to at least try to have some sort of, you know, conversation to not keep you too bored, because really, I'm gonna be honest, even I wouldn't really want to like suffer through this for like a long time without like any kind of dialogue or anything else to keep me sane. So if you feel the need, just go ahead and type in the conversation. I really do not mind. I honestly would like anything to pass the time while I'm grinding, because otherwise I probably wouldn't really last that long. Before I forget, for warriors, if I remember right, for old school Maple Story, I usually want to aim for around 20-ish decks at the start. 24. And then we can stick with that for a bit. Add in a few points here and there. Because, like I said, now, because for accuracy, there are two types of builds that warriors usually go for. There is the funded low accuracy build, which does not put many points into accuracy, but it's because it's made up by funded gear. In this game, you can enchant your gear with scrolls to give extra stats. So usually that would be dex. Of course, we don't really have the means to get all that yet, so we'll have to go with the standard average dex strategy. If you guys have any questions about the game, just ask. I should be able to answer most questions comfortably, without sounding like a fraud. Which I'm not. Obviously. I mean that. Okay, I don't know why they put that in this version. I don't know why they put Chronostory did this, but that's evil. Okay. Okay, we have the orange mushroom part done. We just need to get the snail shells, the blue ones. As you can see, recovery is very useful early on, especially because it's not like we're really trying to get money for potions. You know, I did mention this before, but how are y'all actually feeling about GTA 6? Are you guys actually excited for it? Do you actually want to play the game? I honestly really couldn't care much about it, but it is GTA 6, so... Well, we're almost done, thankfully, so... we'll be able to get to the exciting part of the game, the first job advancement. Again, I am very excited to share this for everyone. And here we are, the main part of the game. Everything begins here. For warriors, we need to go to Parion. Before that, though, I need just a tiny bit more experience to level up. And there we go. Let's get started. We're gonna make it all the way up here. And level 10 allow quest opened up, and in this version of the game, Chronostory, quest XP did get buffed, so I'm definitely gonna be doing those. Thank you, JJ. Thank you very much for following on Twitch. How have you been? And there we go. We are warrior. For those that need to know, make sure your stats are as appropriate. Because if you don't, you will regret it, and you will not be able to advance, and you'll be delayed in your leveling, and nobody wants that. So right now, our priority is to get the max HP increase, because it will quite literally boost our max HP every time we level up, and it scales, and that just makes us more tanky. To do this, we're going to need HP recovery level 5, as noted in the requirements section. It's going to take a while. But not to worry, we get some starting equipment in Chronostory compared to the main game, so they're very generous. Usually, we would not have access to such things. Without further ado, let's just get started on some questing. Just look at us, we are so dapper. Red bandana, red gloves, a stolen fence for a shield. Yes, it is very generous, because in the classic original MapleStory, you only really got a weapon. And in earlier versions, you didn't really get anything. You had to buy a weapon. And the prices for those usually outscaled how much you were earning. So let me go to the shop and I'll show an example. Okay, so right now we're at 1,000, which is pretty normal. If we want to buy this, we would need 2,000 more. I had already spent 10 levels on the beginner's Maple Island, and I only have this much. Now, granted, you could sell your stuff, sure, but we'd still be short. Now, this is why we have etc. items. They're either for quests or you sell them. Now, this was just for weapons. Mind you, giving work gloves is a very generous offer because gloves are very uncommon for most beginners to acquire. The work glove is actually one of the greatest gloves in the classic game because it has a large number of upgrade slots. I believe it's been adjusted here, but certain gloves, I believe, can even have 10 upgrade slots, which means if you can pump them with certain stats from scrolls, you get a huge bonus just from one equipment. And it would outscale most things you would get leveling up to a certain point. Yeah, oh yeah, very nice. Now, armor is even more expensive to maintain. Just level 10, we would need to pump 6,000. 10,000 if we want a shield included. And it just keeps going up from there. It was not very nice to the new player. But anyway, we're going to begin our first quest. That is to get some stumps. Ignore the fact that the boar is 20 levels above me. Sometimes MapleStory like to do that sometimes. I don't recall it being in this area though, but maybe that's just the quirk this particular server has. I know other MMOs like to do this too. Sometimes they'll have a super strong monster just lurking about casually in a lower area and it teaches players to stay away. Kind of like in Xenoblade. Anyway, JJ, how are you tonight? You doing well? Having a good time so far? Relaxing, vibing, you know. I can get that. Yes, usually in this game, because it's 2D, if you touch the monster, you take damage. But it's when you attack them that they'll aggro onto you. So it's not like World of Warcraft. I think. I don't recall, but... Anyway, I hope you get some rest you need. It's a pretty quiet stream so far, but that's probably because I didn't send out a stream notification ahead of time, but... It's fine. I'll just be sure to do that next time. I did send a stream notification, but I also sent a video notification right after that post, so that could have been overshadowed, so that's on me for not timing it right. Yep, it is all good. I also been testing out a new multi-stream overlay. I think it looks really nice. See, picking up those pans is how you can tell this is not old school. Any drop rates we would have had for some... This is a Chronostory unique item, first off. But, more than that, most monsters, if they were going to drop equipment, the percentage would be really, really low. We're very grateful for Chronostory being very generous in the new player experience, which I am grateful for. And I'm hoping that when the classic server comes out for this game officially, not to say that this isn't official, but the application made is official, just not server itself, but yeah. Just look at how generous it is. And personally, I like it. I'm not really interested in grinding for hours and hours and hours, mindlessly pressing the same buttons on repeat. It's just not my style. I need variety. I need that random dopamine spike every once in a while. I'm gonna go insane. But this is essentially the core MapleStory gameplay. You grind, you level up, you learn skills, you grind, you start questing with other players in something called Party Quest, which is just a multiplayer dungeon raid. Rinse and repeat. I mean, that's why most people play MMOs, right? I mean, I don't think that's really a bad thing. Oh yeah, it's definitely not for everyone, but I mean... Then again, I used to play I'm used to play gacha games a lot, but... I think that's because, for me, if I want to play a gacha game, the gameplay matters the most. I think so long as the grind isn't obsessively insane, I can handle it. Okay, now that we're done with that, the other quest we can do, we're gonna have to come back later because Firewood is a higher level enemy, so we're not ready for that yet. So we're gonna travel. We're gonna actually play the game. Crazy, I know. Now, we can either pay for a taxi cab, which does cost an actually significant amount this early on. Just look at how much we already have now. Or we go the old-fashioned way and walk. We're walking. I do not have time, nor be bothered, to do anything else. Yes, sir, I am walking the walk. I am definitely going to be streaming tomorrow, by the way, so I guess if I'm going to put up a notification tomorrow, I'm definitely going to do that. Same time, too. Amen. I'm also been trying to make sure that the chat overlay isn't, like, obstructive or anything. I think it's in a good place, but I think if people think otherwise, I'll adjust it later. You know what they say, live streaming's not easy, you actually have to be funny or something. And for me, if I want to be funny, I need a punchline. I need like a joke that's sitting right in front of me. I can't just make one up on the spot. I need something to work with. Like, what joke could I possibly make in this situation? Yes, something humor, something yap. Honestly, I don't know how high-tier streamers do it sometimes. I really don't. Maybe it's because IRL streamers have an easier time because they can actually do skits and more insane stuff. Oh, and as you can see, the jump from a level 8 mob to a level 10 mob, just look at the difference of how long it's taking me. This is the accurate experience right here. This is MapleStory at its core. This is how you know you need better gear. This is how you know you need better accuracy. Yes, the single damage point pains me very much. This is what happens when you don't have decent accuracy. This is why, when you're a very well-funded player, you can avoid the dex issue altogether. Okay, so if we follow the map, go this way and we'll be on to the next town. Usually I'm not really fond of when things take too long, but I feel like for MapleStory, because 2D, it's not that bad, and with the changes in Nimble Feed being much longer and a much better speed improvement, I kind of can enjoy the leisure at times. I don't know how many things people feel about the immersion of traveling in an MMO, or really just any video game. Personally, I think as long as the journey contains like things to do and the transport methods are not egregious, I think travel can be pretty fun. We have made it to the town of the magicians, Elenia. They live in trees. It's a tree house. When I was a kid, the magician was my first class in MapleStory, so it kind of has some fond memories for me. I guess if you think about druids, kind of do make sense, but the magicians here are more like elementalists. But it does have a bit of a druidic theme about, you know, the nature and all things. Alright, I know there was the quest NPC up here. I have memorized most of the NPC locations on Victoria Island. I say this, but I need to find who I'm looking for. Alright, let's get those materials going. I would like to say I'm sponsored, but at the moment I am not. So I'm just gonna show my YouTube memberships, which I will be announcing soon. Because certain rewards I'm gonna need to look over. You'd think, right? You'd think being 2D it'd be pretty easy, but honestly, no. It's honestly more difficult than a 3D MMO, honestly. Which is hilarious, but I think it's because with 2D you're far more limited in designing the place. Like with 3D, there are so many different vectors and different directions that you can make, like a castle. But in a game like MapleStory, you can literally only go up, left, right, and down. There is no diagonal, there is no... You get what I'm saying. If you want to have the different location, you're going to have different room points, and that's a lot of rooms. In 3D, you just have one big area sectioned by different areas. You know, honestly, one thing I kind of want to do for a future stream, I might want to teach people how to play D&D. I don't know. I feel like having like one of those seminar type sessions with like a Microsoft PowerPoint presentation in the background, I think that'd be pretty fun, low key. Oh god, I forgot I even had a mobile chat. Oh, that's so funny. Hey, Majestic. But yeah, old school was pretty different. And you're right, JJ, it would help get new people in the hobby. I need to remind myself to set up the YouTube vertical screen chat later for my multi-chat, because right now I'm only getting the normal landscape YouTube and then Twitch, so I probably should have realized that. Boy, am I dumb. Well, I know where we're going. Magician, huh? Yeah. Magician was my first job too, honestly, so that's kind of funny. Alright, for those that don't know. You'll thank me later. I'm honestly testing out the vertical YouTube short stream, and I'm noticing a pretty significant delay, but once the stream's over, I'm probably gonna check that out and sort things. For me, the reason why I got into MapleStory was because my cousin was playing it. And then eventually I found out, and that's how history works. And so that's right, JJ, the tweaks. I'm gonna have to tweak a lot. But that's just a process. Though I will say, that is how I found out about Minecraft. I did watch YouTube videos, and that got me genuinely interested in the game. That's right, JJ. Mushrooms. The most identifiable, memorable monster in the game. They come in variants. Oh, that's right, JJ. So, this is one of the most popular areas in old school MapleStory. This single area. I honestly cannot tell you why. But everyone spammed here a lot. Yeah, pretty much. Mushrooms are basically the game's mascot, pretty much. Yeah, you're right. I think it's endearing. Plus, I love mushrooms. They're delicious. Oh. Hold on a moment. I swore I picked something up. Oh, here it is. Okay, that's a pretty handy feature. You're right. Mushrooms are the greatest. You would think, right? You'd think attacks would have AoE. But no, that's just not how it works. And I do agree, Majestic. Even after all the changes MapleStory made, I have a lot of things I like about it. I really do. Well, I know where we're going again. On the road again. It never ends. Yeah, the hero's jobs, they were all pretty good, honestly. I really liked each of them. I wasn't much of a Phantom player, but Aran was my shit. I am just now realizing that it's not showing my YouTube chat on the multi-chat stream overlay. I'm probably gonna have to look into that. That's right, you really like Shade, that's right. For me, when it comes to modern Maple, I think my favorite class has to be... I'm trying to think here. I am thinking. I'm still thinking. Okay, I think I have an answer. Demon Slayer. And yeah, I agree. Some of them do kind of just blend together, honestly. It is what it is these days. Like, I don't really play Global Maples very much these days, but I do keep up with the news. I tried Pathfinder, not too bad, but I don't think I played too much of it, so I can't really give an honest opinion. You know, I don't think I really ever got to play Zero, mainly because every time I tried to, it was always locked, so that never happened with me. Yeah, for sure. The whole zero locking thing was the most annoying thing. Honestly, I really didn't understand it. It's not like anyone actually cared that it was a classified level 100. Who really cares, honestly, at that point? I'm just glad that's not an issue for people anymore. There's a lot of things I'm glad don't exist anymore. What's one of them? Well, for one thing, if we're talking about MapleStory specifically, it would be the grind. At least, even though level 300 is nearly impossible, at least it's a lot easier to get to the end game content. You know, Angelic Buster, that's a funny story. It's a very funny story. I think conceptually it's pretty nice, I just didn't really bother playing it too much. I am swearing to myself, I am taking a taxi. I cannot be bothered to walk again. Privilege. Man, that quest paid for my entire cab fee. Anyway. I suppose walking is good for me. Well, at least with Nova, I actually like Kaiser, so I still have a soft spot for that. Now listen, if I wanted to hate my fingers, I would be playing Blaster, but I never played Blaster, and I don't think I ever will. And look, I know walking is good for me and all, but my patience can only go so far. But for the sake of myself, I shall do it. I just felt like picking that one up. Blaster required me to actually learn how to cancel an attack frame in a 2D game. I'd say that's very impressive. I still can't believe the ways people play Blaster. It's something. I cannot understand the why. I am gonna figure out the multi-chat overlay later. It is a new one, so I guess I'll have to learn how it works. Well, JJ, for good grinding spots, to judge a good grinding spot, you're gonna need a few things. You need to make sure that it's easy to walk around. You need to make sure it's got hordes of enemies and clumps, and easy to get to spots, and so that you'll be able to do a rotation on one area and then the next. Rinse and repeat. And I do remember Jet. I remember when 1% of Jet means got screwed because Nexon removed it for whatever reason. So that was short-lived. Well, I guess I'm gonna kill a boss and see if I do it. Man, what is with these Twitch bots and their promotions, man? I swear. Yeah, I can kind of get that. I mean, if a class is extremely low rate, lazily made, and people don't like it, I can see why you'd get rid of it. But like, you keep in the other exclusive classes, they put in the effort to do anything. I guess GMS just hates its player base, which isn't much of a surprise, but still. You know, exactly. Most people don't play Mihail, but like, it's still there. That's probably because Korea just doesn't really want to get rid of the class, so. Oh, CC, I don't know what they're talking about. I'm assuming it means something. For me, when I think of CC and MapleStory, I mean, it means change channel so that you can have someone actually grind in that spot, but for them, I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know if it's even directed to me or not, but it's fine. Let's see if we can do this. Oh my god. Oh man. Mano's actually a challenge for once. Oh, crowd control. That's probably it. Yeah, you're probably right. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it's probably crowd control, yeah. Oh yeah, come right. I'm sure I'll do it. Yes, sir. We can do it. We can slay the giant snail monster, I'm sure. You know, I do think it's funny when Nexon just gives up and, yeah, when they make a manhwa-based character, and you can tell it is. But hey, sometimes it works. I mean, hey, if it works, if it ain't broke, why fix it, right? I have been switching my fingers. This might be harder than anything I've ever done in my life. I never played Kane, but I could tell it was just that. It's like one of those, you know, the type of manhwa. It's like Solo Leveling. Yeah, that's basically what it is. Look, man, I have to go all out for this. This is my hardest fight of all time. Look, listen. It's not about whether or not I'm hitting it. Maybe it's just too tough, you know? Maybe I'm not actually missing my attack. It's just so tough that it doesn't register as a hit. I have to go Super Saiyan for this one. Cat, I am going Super Saiyan. Oh my god. Oh my god. Kane really was Jinmu with the bow. Yeah, I didn't even think about it till now. Like, the class was such a nothing burger for me that I never thought about that comparison until today. Oh man, this is some really invigorating gameplay. The snail is just super fast. That's it. It's just moving beyond dimensions. That's how it's avoiding my attacks. It's here and here, not here at the same time. It's limbo. Schrodinger snail. Please. I can win. I can win. It's just gonna take me like 10 minutes. And that would be really challenging. This snail's on UI Omen or something, I swear to God. They really buffed the shit out of Mano in this. In the regular game, this thing is such a nothing burger boss. My God. For any new viewers watching, welcome. As you can see, I am taking on my greatest challenge yet. The UI Mano. You know, Beast Tamer was a fun time, but I guess they want to make their own Beast Tamer. Again. Oh my God. You know what? You're right. At least I'm gaining experience. At least I'm gaining money. You're absolutely right. I have to be positive. I have to stay positive in the face of absolute despair. Yeah, a lot of people kind of forget that Beast Tamer just became Lyn, which is really funny. They didn't have to do that, but I guess they really felt like it. I don't think Lyn is bad at all, but it's just funny to me. Never forget the goat pink bean. Absolutely correct. Never forget the goat pink bean. And I promise to people on YouTube, I am fixing this multi-tile overlay. I don't know why it's not showing YouTube. That is such a damn shame. I'm fixing that when I'm done. Oh my God. We're so close. Oh my God. This might change everything. My first real skill. Hit things harder. This is my comeback. We are so back. Please. Shit, I'm out of MP. Oh, we did it. We did it. We did it. God. Why was that harder than, like, most things in my life? Gosh. Lord above. Ugh. We beat No, I am not doing it again. Good lord. Oh, we got earrings. Do you know how long that took me? I am not doing this again. Now let's go collect my reward. Listen, I know it's been 10 minutes and I probably can do it faster now that I have my power strike, but still. You know, funny you mentioned that, the Ice Lightning Mage part. For me, my first class was the Fire Poison Wizard. I swear to Lord, if I'm gonna make this into a YouTube compilation, I'm putting Ultra Instinct on top of that Mono fight. How would that work? Well, it just does. All we need is a bishop. And then symbol it away. Where do I need to go again? Oh yeah. Alright, later, man. I might be wrapping up soon anyway, so... After that, once I'm done with the stream, I am definitely going to be checking out my overlays. I need to make sure I can see both YouTube and Twitch on the actual overlay. I can see it in my OBS fine, just not for the audience. What the? Thank you very much, I'm so bored, help me please, for following. Wait a minute. Why didn't it register? I had the shell snow. Oh god, what have I done? What have I done? Oh Lord. Oh God. Oh Lord above. Someone save me. Oh my God. I can't believe I did that. I needed an orange. That's why the quest wasn't done. Now we have money to burn at least. Yeah, well, it's kinda like a private server, but it's on MapleStory World, which is the Roblox MapleStory that they made, so it's technically both a private and not at the same time. But I do thank you for joining, and I'm glad you got into the channel because of Bout Network. I got more on the way, so there's that. It is a little quiet, I will admit, but that's probably because I probably didn't, you know, I kind of made the mistake of overshadowing my stream announcement with my video announcement. Should have done that after. But that's okay. I'm streaming tomorrow, 7:30. I mean, not 7:30, 7, same time. So I'll be playing Valchip Challenge, so that should be great. We're gonna make Guts Man not a potential man. We're gonna make him the greatest fighter on the planet. We're gonna make him not a Vegeta. We're making him a Goku. That is the goal. No longer will he be a fraud. No longer will he face allegations. What weapon do I want to get right now? Do I want the iron ball? Do I want the spear, which is even lower? Or do I want the mace like Minecraft? Who am I kidding? Of course I know what I want. Give me that. We're dripping us out. Now, what quest can we do? Oh. Okay, okay. I think before I end the stream, let's do one more quest. And I think I know exactly which one I want to try and do. I'm bored. Well, at least everything works. Where are the slimes again? Don't tell me I have to throw in Linnea for that. Might have to. No, it's fine. We have money to burn. It's not really a big deal. Call me Wembu is the way I'm using this mace. You know, I don't think I've used these. I think I have to use them in town. Mindless grinding. I love it. I can see my glorious self again. I think I have enough, actually. I just need tree branches and I'm done. That's good to know. And we're done. Alright, let's go back, finish this up, and we're good. Where do I need to go again? Oh, yeah. All right. I think with that, it is safe to say that this is where we'll be hanging out the stream today. A little shorter than before, but tomorrow we will be streaming again, 7 o'clock p.m. EST. We'll be playing Battleship Challenge. And I will be playing as Gutsman. So that should be something. With all that said, thank you again for tuning in. A little quiet stream today, but that's alright. I am back after a bit, so as I hope you all stay tuned, and I shall see any of you tomorrow.